Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host, ToneVays. I decided to just, jump on a random video here just to mostly do a bunch of Q&A and stuff. Oh, let me get my right here. Just through some Q&A, go over a couple of charts, and let me situate here. Let me pull out the live chat. Though I do have someone helping me with questions, so I'm not going to probably do much of that. And let me do, you know what, let me put this here. And there we go. All right. I'm gonna do screen share. Let's do sorry about that, trying to situate. See, I have no co-host today, so missing Leah Sunday. It's all right. Well, we're gonna get back to the daily news shows on Monday. Lots of news is happening. I decided to save it for Monday, and we'll do it then. But this will I'll go over some Bitcoin stuff. But other than that, it's gonna be mostly for Q&A stuff. All right, let's go to screen share. All right, here is my, so I sent out a couple of tweets today. I'm not really tweeting out price charts these days. I just don't have the time to make those charts. I blocked like 20 people today on Twitter. It's time. Like I can't take it anymore, to be honest with you. Just too many ignorant comments, too many trolls. It's getting really annoying. So it's time to start blocking people, and I did. So there we go. Also, check out this article from Restus Law about the T0 security token, and also I did a bunch of interviews the other day. I think this one just came out. So have a listen to this. There's also just did this interview recently, probably doesn't have many views. In case you guys are curious, like it's hard for me to even keep up with all of the interviews that I actually do. So what I have done is on YouTube, I started a, where am I? Right. So I have playlists. Interviews with Tone is probably a really good playlist. You want to check that out. So anytime someone interviews me and it's not on my YouTube channel, I'm going to try and put it into Interviews with Tone playlist. Okay, so go ahead and check out that playlist. And I need to go back, throughout the history of all of my interviews online. I mean, there's a bunch here, but more is probably needed. So check out that playlist. All right, so my typical disclaimer. Oh, this is the affiliates and referrals page. You guys already know. If you want to support my work, please check out the affiliate referrals page. And this whole page is going to be actually decommissioned soon. So don't forget to check out Learn Trading. Still the only place where it is, but I'm going to be migrating this Learn Trading over to my new website. The trading seminar, this page, I should probably remove it from my website already. The consulting will also be moved over to the new website. But check out Learn Trading. This will answer a lot of your questions. And the site that all of this is going to is, of course, ToneVays.com. Here's the new site. Oh, I'm logged in as admin. Damn. Okay. Let me log out of that. Can't show anything on this. These guys are too sneaky, and you'll find it all. So check out the workshops on ToneVays.com and go ahead and register for Philly. I actually waiting for someone to use this website to register. I have to make sure that everything's working. So this is happening in about 2 weeks. So let's see how many people I get, or perhaps the service is no longer needed, right? I mean, again, this is a service for you guys. If I can't get close to selling out my workshops, then all this effort isn't worth it, right? They'll just continue to do it for free. People continue to ask silly questions like, how come I don't offer all my services for free? Well, yeah, good luck with that. Do you know how much effort imagine if I offered a workshop for free and I don't know, 10,000 people signed up for free. How am I supposed to manage that? So that was not a very smart question or comment. So what else did I want to say? Okay, so let me start off with, how many people do we have live? Only 300. Okay, I'll probably say it a couple of times throughout. So I'm going to tweet this out right after the podcast. I need a new logo. I can't be using the Cointelegraph's logo because that's, you know, Cointelegraph made that logo. So I want something. I want something my own, right? I want to throw it out to the community before I, you know, go ahead and hire a professional, you know, before I go ahead and hire a professional company to make me a logo. I want it to be a cross between cartoonish and something that looks like almost like a real picture, right? So something that I can use across the board. I mean, ideally it would be like in square format, not in rectangular or anything like that. So this is a really cool picture that Jimmy had made for him, for himself. And here's what I'm thinking, but I'm willing to, you know, explore other options. And I mean, it's all right here, right? Like I kind of want the HODL hat, though it would be cool to get one with a hat, one without a hat. I always wear the Buy the Dip shirt, so that's probably would work. I kind of want to have Bitcoin logos on it, but I want it to be subtle. I want it to say the little word HODL, like in the hat somewhere, the Buy the Dip with the Bitcoin sign, again, subtle. And I guess you can keep the Bitcoin watch. Now, the hand doesn't have to be holding up my head. I think that would make sense. But maybe holding a microphone or something, since I do a lot of speaking engagements. So have at it if anyone is bored and want to do a cool project. And I don't know. So whoever does it and whoever's picture I'm using, or maybe I'll use more than one picture. Maybe there'll be a few really, really cool ones. So whichever one I use, I figure, hey, maybe free entry to one of my workshops or a consulting call, or it'll be like more like a bartering system, right? So something like that, so something worth approximately 0.1 Bitcoin for a really cool logo in some kind of trade. Or hey, or maybe we can go grab dinner, you know, whatever. I'm up for some kind of a bartering situation on using the logo. All right, cool. So on that note, let's get to the markets. Oh, also, I think I'm gonna spin off into my own audio podcast channel. So I gotta, so that these videos are gonna be converted to an independent audio. Okay. So, but I'll give you more on that. I'll give you more on that info later. All right, let's go to the charts. Now that we have almost 400 people, I'm gonna tweet out my logo stuff right after the show. A little sneak preview for those that are watching. All right, cool. So here's the weekly chart. I mean, nothing is really gonna change. Hope you guys watched Tyler and I. I'm gonna jump on a couple of preemptive questions. Actually, let me zoom back out to what it looked like a minute ago. Okay, I know this chart is a little bit cluttered. Let me make sure that let me make this bigger. And let me make sure that like my little image in the corner isn't blocking anything, because the video is always like a second delayed. All right, blocking a little, not too bad. Okay, let's move this down and over. Okay, so I continue to compare the current situation and the break of the trend line to what happened back in May in 2014. Okay, so the common question that I get: how come I'm comparing the current environment to the environment of 2014 and not the environment of early 2013? Okay, and I will answer that in a minute, right? But let me tell you about like the similarity, right? So here we went from approximately $100 in this vicinity here of September, October, went from approximately $100 to $1,000 in a matter of 2 months. So from September, so in September, we kind of, right, so between August and October and September, we got stuck in the low hundreds and we went all the way to 1,200. I believe the price was $1,241 on Mt. Gox. 42, actually $42 on Mt. Gox. And you know what? This is too cluttered. Let me do this. Okay, so there you go. Only the 9s and 13s are showing now. Less cluttered chart. So we went up in 2 months. So in 2 months, we went up 10x, right? In 2017, we broke $1,000. We broke the all-time high in around April. And then we went to $20,000 over the next, I don't know, 6 months. Okay. So it took us 6 months to go from 1,000 to 20,000. So that was, that was a nice 20x move. Okay. Of course, going from 100 to 1,000 is less than that, right? That was only, yeah, you're right. This was a bigger move. From 1,000 to 20,000, that's 20x. From 100 to 1,000, that was only 10x, right? So this was a bigger move. This was even a bigger move, right? From this breakout consolidation versus this breakout consolidation, okay? So the move went twice as much. Now, on the way down, right, the initial fall before the breakout was from $1,000 down to 350, right? So we fell about 75%. We fell about 75%, and then we rallied all the way to about 50% from the fall, right? So think about that, right? We fell 75% from the top, considering the bottom is the $100 breakout level. And here I'm using the $1,000 breakout level in current time. So we fell 75% and then rallied. We doubled the price and we rallied to approximately a 50% fall from the top. Now look what happened here. We fell from 20,000 down to 6,500 or down to 6,000, which again is approximately a 75% fall. And now we have rebounded to approximately 50% fall from the top, right? The top is 20, the bottom is 1,000, right? And now we're sitting at just under 10K. Also look at this purple line. This purple line is Tyler Jenks's useful 7-week moving average. You can see how we had fallen below that 7-week moving average, never closed below the blue line, which, oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. The 7-week is the orange, the 30-week is the purple, and the 50-week is the blue. So we pierced the purple the first time, then we went lower and closed in between the purple and the blue. So in between the 30-week and the 50-week. And then we bounced off the 50-week, but we were not able to cleanly break the 30-week. We closed above it for 1 week over here, the week of June 2nd, 2014, and then we closed above it for 1 week in July of 2014, and then it was all downhill. And then the purple, which is the 30-week, crossed below the 50-week, and they stayed crossed below from August all the way into November of the following year. So for 1 year. August 2014, and they did not cross back over until November 2015. So over a year, okay? I don't see how the current situation is any different. I don't. Like, it doesn't have to, look, it doesn't have to conclude the same way 2014 concluded. I'm just saying that it doesn't look any different to me. Just like between December and April of 2014, we fell 75% of the rally. We had fallen 75% of the rally. Now, I understand that it looks a little bit different in that back in 2014, the intra-week low and the closing low both came in April. In our current situation, the intra-week low came in February, and the closing low came pretty much in April, right? It was like the last week of March. So let's just say that's about the same time, right? We were able, the first time we fell and we pierced the 30-week, closed above it. Then we broke below the 30-week, just like what happened back in March of 2014. We pierced the 50-week very briefly and managed to rally and close above it, just like what happened in April of 2014. And now we're breaking the downward 3-4 month trend line, and we're about to knock our head against the 30-week moving average. Now, will we break above it? I don't know. But does it look to me exactly like it did back in 2014? The answer is yes. So until I see a proven stable close above $10,000, I can't assume that it's going to happen. So we are stuck between these moving averages. And remember, at the time this was happening, look back at the first week of June of 2014, and you will see how both the 30-week moving average and the 50-week moving average are both still rising, right? But we're coming into the 30-week moving average from below. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same. Like it's scary how similar they look right now compared to what happened then. Really, really scary. Do I want it to end the way 2014 ended? Of course I don't, right? I mean, I don't have any fiat to buy more Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes down in value, it's going to hurt my wallet. It's going to hurt my bank account. Do I want to sell some extra Bitcoin right now to hedge this? Of course I do. I just don't really have any buyers, to be honest with you. Most of the people I speak to on the street want to sell Bitcoin, not buy it. So people keep saying, how come I don't think this is similar to what happened to 2013? And here's why. Because it looks nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. Like, I don't understand. I mean, guys, there's wishful thinking, and then there is, there's wishful thinking. Man, this chart's going to get kind of small. Man, how do I? Maybe I can do split screen again, though that was almost kind of annoying. All right, so you're going to have to bear with me here. Let's look at 2013, right? So there is, oh wait, you won't be able to see the top. Hold on, I got it. I already feel your complaints. Okay. Now, I will say that I'm a little new to using the 7-week and the 30-week moving average. And again, Tyler Jenks has just gotten me onto it as of our last video. So let's look at the early 2013 days. So first of all, obviously the timeline doesn't match at all, right? So one more similarity that we have now versus 2014 is that the tops came on almost the same day and within a few weeks. And the first level, the 75% drop came approximately the same week. Lots of similarities here. So the first thing that jumps out at me is, look, the orange line is the 7-week moving average. The 7-week moving average never even went below the 30-week moving average. The price never closed below the 30-week moving average. There is no similarity at all between the bubble of 2013, the early bubble of 2013, the April bubble of 2013, and the bubble of late 2017, right? I mean, look at the moving averages. They look nothing similar. Okay, that's one thing that jumps out at me. Another thing that jumps out at me is I was there. I was around for this bubble, right? I mean, I was already paying close attention to Bitcoin. And I know why this bubble took place. It was like almost everything in that bubble had to do with the Cyprus incident. It was all about Cyprus. There was a massive, run into Bitcoin because of the Cyprus banking shutdown. Here's another reason why this bubble of early 2013 looks nothing like the current bubble, is because when the bubble reached its peak at $266, I don't remember, it was 266 exactly. It fell and made its intra-week low. What is it on this? 45. Ooh, I thought it was only 55. This is Bitstamp. We went, what's the range on this candle? We went from $260 in the first week of April. We fell from 260 down to $45. That is actually more than a 75% fall. That is like an 85% fall or an 80% fall in the price of Bitcoin. And it happened in less than 1 week. Less than 1 week. And we made the intra-week low. Yes, the closing low came in July, 3 months later. But the 85% move, which was the low, took place the same week. That didn't happen here. I would agree that the 2013 bubble, the early one, the April 2013 bubble, would have had similarities to the current bubble if we had fallen from $20,000, right, down to below $4,000 the week following the high. But that did not happen here. We only fell, like 40% the week following the high, not 80%. Huge difference, okay? Like, people got exposed as to what the hell they're doing in 1 week. That's not what happened in 2014 bubble, okay? 2014 took a year for people to realize they're in the wrong trade, or, they're not going to get those Lambos all that quick. So I don't see any comparison between the early 2013 and now. None whatsoever. Just look at how the price behaves inside the moving averages. Now, if we get rejected right here in a $10,000 area and start to approach the 50-week moving average, as the 30-week moving average once again changes direction from up to down. You see how the 30-week moving average is flattening? It never even came close to flattening all throughout 2013. The moving average didn't flatten out until June of 2014. That was when the 30-week moving average started to flatten. So this is what I'm looking for here, right? If we get rejected right now in the vicinity of $10,000 and the 30-week moving average starts to flatten and turns down, it's not going to be very, very pretty, okay? And what do you think will happen as the price, like here, you see this candle here? This is the candle of August 11th. The candle of August 11th. This candle of August 11th, that week, the open was 590. We opened at the top. Look at the upper left-hand corner of my chart, right? You see how the open and the close, the open and the high are within a penny of each other. So they're identical. So we opened at 590 bucks. We closed at 480. I'm rounding, right? So from 590 to 480, the price of Bitcoin lost $100 then. And that was about 20% of the price of Bitcoin, maybe a little less, right? Less than 20%, right? So let's say 600 down to 5. So, about 18% Bitcoin lost, right? But we were already falling a little bit, right? So we were already on the way down. Like once that happened, most of the people that bought in this area on this up move, they started to panic and they started to get the hell out because they saw themselves potentially being in long-term losing positions. Okay. Now I didn't panic. I held on to my Bitcoin in this mess. Okay. I held it. I was a hodler. I always was a hodler, right? I knew Bitcoin was going to come back. It took longer than I expected it to come back, but it came back. Okay. So you have to figure out, are you a trader or are you a long-term holder? And if you're a long-term holder, are you willing to hold through the bear market? If yes, then keep holding. No one's stopping you. Okay. No one can confiscate your Bitcoin. That's why I held it. Okay. So there you go. So I think that explains what I'm looking at. Now let's zoom in. So for the second week in a row, we are being rejected by the 30-week moving average. Now, am I very familiar with the 30-week moving average? No. But I mean, I can go back into history on it. It looks decent. I don't really see any problems with using it. And Tyler likes it. So I respect Tyler's opinion, guys. I mean, if you have 35 years of money management with people that have, trusted you with their life savings for retirement for 20 plus years in a row, then I will be more than willing to listen to your advice as well. Okay, so also there's a Fibonacci line here. I don't know how useful this Fibonacci line is at this point, and perhaps we should add a new set of Fibonacci's here. Let me see if it's useful. If I grab the Fibonacci set and I pick the high, I should have done a magnet, and I pick the intra-week low. Oh man, this is getting cluttered because of the other lines. So we're above it. Okay. What if I pick the closing low? Oh, that's interesting. I have two Fibonacci lines lining up right there. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to delete it, but just something I wanted to see. Okay, that's the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily chart. And if you guys are curious about the TI indicator, we are on a 4 and 8. So guess what that means? If we continue to trend up, we can get a 913 on the same weekly candle 5 weeks from today. Let's see what happens. We're on a 4 of 9. We're on an 8 of 13. But we can get that 9 at 30K, or we can get that 9 at 10K. Either one actually works. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's move on. Here's the daily chart. Yeah, you know what? The CMF on a daily chart is not all that useful, but I am going to look more into Nick's work, and I'm going to probably start applying it on shorter level timeframes. But I don't want to look at shorter level timeframes right now. I want to stick to the higher level timeframes, because to me, the higher level timeframes is what's really important. So on this chart, I'm looking at the 50, 128, and 200 MA. Okay. So the 200 MA is the orange, the 128 is the purple, and the 50 is the blue. Okay. Now, we are currently on an aggressive 13 sell But to be honest, I'm not taking this aggressive 13 sell all that seriously, even though the aggressive 13s have been good to Bitcoin. So it's something to keep in mind. But it's this 128-day moving average rejection that makes me more interested. Also, this moving average crossover, again, makes me a little more interested. We did break out, but didn't amount to much. Okay. Now, let me see what happens with the trend lines as I go to log scale. And out of log scale, okay, so that's what they're looking like. Okay, let me go back into log. And let me try something here. Double click this, do this. Okay. No, I'm not going to mess with the trend lines. I will say that as I zoom out, those of you that have watched me for a long time will remember this purple channel. What is that thing? Those of you that watched me for a while should remember the purple channel. You know why this one's getting cluttered too? Because I'm zooming out. Let's make it cleaner. A little better. The purple channel was very good to Bitcoin. And I was very, very happy for Bitcoin to stay in this purple channel for the rest of time. Very happy, right? Because this channel, I was talking about this channel for a long time, probably back in 2015 days. And had we stayed in the channel, the current price of Bitcoin would have been somewhere between 4,600 and 3,000. And guess what? Everyone would have been happy the world over because it's a consistent uptrend. We broke the channel and we went the way I felt was unreasonably steep. So I have absolutely no problem with Bitcoin making its way back into this channel that has been good to it since the middle of June of 2015. And this scales fairly quickly, actually. Well, maybe not quick enough for many people, right? So if I was to extend this channel, we would be back to $20,000 probably sometime in mid-2019. Okay, that's what the channel was calling for. I would be very happy with that. So in about a year from now, the channel calls for that. Now, the worry that you should have and I should have is if we overshot this much on the upside, is it possible to overshoot the channel on the downside? And that's not something I want to see, but is it possible? Well, actually, I think I want to bring up a picture now. I know I'm supposed to be doing your Q&A, but I'm kind of got myself on a roll. Hold on a second. I did this presentation. If you go to my presentations, you'll probably see it. I want to show you the historical Dow chart. Here it is. Oh man, I wish my resolution was higher. Oh, this is not good. Oh, this sucks. See, TradingView took away historical data for the Dow, so I can't draw this chart anymore. I had it on my TradingView, but not anymore. Shoot, that's too bad. But anyway, you can quasi see it, even though the resolution is absolutely terrible. Why isn't it? Oh, okay, I understand why. So let me get some circles here. I guess I'll use purple. So let me show you. So here's a channel for the Dow, right? And here is us overshooting the channel during the Great Depression. And here is us undershooting the channel after the Great Depression. I don't even use that peak. Now, after that, if you use middle, we overshot by a little here, and we came back to the bottom. We've been over, and then we stayed at the bottom of the channel, and now we're staying at the top of the channel. This is why my target for the Dow Jones, I'm not sure what year that is. If that's 2017, that looks like, I can't tell. Sorry, guys. But probably in the 30s, probably 2035 or something. This is why my target for the Dow is this. Now, I would want an overshot of the Dow, and then we go down. So for some reason, everyone thinks that the Dow Jones has the ability of undershooting the channel, but Bitcoin for some reason can't. I'm sorry to point reality to you guys. It could, and you need to be prepared for that. Okay, so let's just zoom back in here and talk about the current environment. So to answer the question, am I still bearish Bitcoin on medium to long-term basis? The answer is yes, of course I am. Of course I am. I have seen nothing in my charts that tell me that we bottomed. Is it possible that we bottomed? Yes. Do I see it in my charts? No. When my charts are telling me that Bitcoin has bottomed, and I'll tell you, I have absolutely, my motivation is to raise the price of Bitcoin. And I've already explained why I feel the fundamental environment of Bitcoin right now is significantly worse than it was in 2014. I explained in a different video that in 2014, everyone was united for Bitcoin. Everyone. There was no big blockers. People like me and Roger Ver were on the same side. Jeff Garzik. There was no fake Satoshis running around. Rick Falkling. There wasn't this fragmentation of Bitcoin. And there weren't all of these altcoin fanboys. The cohesion within the crypto space was way more for a Bitcoin than it is today. So the political forces to tear Bitcoin apart are significantly greater today than they were in 2014. Now, you can make the argument that the more people try to rip Bitcoin apart, the stronger it gets and the higher its value. And that would be the one argument I can't win, right? Because if that's your argument, then yes, if you make the argument that, yeah, the Bitcoin environment's way worse, but Bitcoin thrives in the shittiest environment imaginable, hence I expect the price to go up. And I would say, sure, but most people get nervous, right? So anyone that comes to me and says the current, Bitcoin ecosystem environment is, more optimal for Bitcoin today from a united front than it was back in 2014, I'm going to laugh at you, right? It absolutely isn't. All right. I don't even want to talk about shorter term timeframes, guys. I just don't. I like talking about shorter term timeframes when my long term and short term charts are bullish, but they're not. So I'm going to stick to long term. You know what? A bunch of questions piled up. Let's talk about your questions. And now that I have more viewers on, once again, I'm going to tweet the following out right after this video. If anyone is good at graphic design and wants to put together a logo for me, a new image that I can use across the board, I don't want to use the Cointelegraph image anymore. This was a Crypto Friends image. It's kind of cool. But again, I don't want like a digitalized version of me. I like this picture of Jimmy that someone did, but I think it's a little too cartoonish for my taste. I need something in between. So I grabbed one of these pictures because it's in high definition. Obviously, I should be looking straight. It would be nice to get one with a hat, one without a hat. Please be good to my hair if you're going to do that. I mean, it's not a satirical picture. I need it to be a real picture, but a real picture of maybe me and hair like a year and a half ago. And some subtle Bitcoin signs, like the buy the dip shirt. You know, the can be blocked by my hand. My hand should probably be holding a microphone. Would be cool to have, you know, a Bitcoin logo in my watch, kind of visible but subtle. You know, feel free to get creative, and you know, you can choose your bartering reward for whoever, you know, whoever's picture I end up using, right? Like I have to end up using your picture as my logo, right? Because if I get like 1,000 requests, I can't, you know, offer 1,000 barter solutions. But yeah, I'll give you free entry to one of my workshops, or we can do a consulting call, or if I'm ever in your town, you know, more than willing to, you know, hang out for dinner or lunch. So something approximately worth 0.1 Bitcoin of my time. All right, guys. Let's go to your questions. What are some ratios to use in BitMax? I'm not understanding the question. I'm assuming you mean leverage. Guys, you want to use the least amount of leverage possible. Bitcoin is not leveraged enough for you. I would use as little leverage possible. Or use the maximum leverage possible per bet so that you don't risk your Bitcoin on an exchange. We looked at the weekly MACD yesterday. I don't really see anything there. There's nothing there to see. And here's why. Here's the weekly. Oh, I took the MACD off. Damn. It's going to be too many indicators. All right, I'm going to... Oh, wait, that's not weekly. That's why. Here's the weekly. There's the MACD. All right, here's the weekly MACD. Like, what do you expect to see here? It's... again, like, sure, it can cross. It can cross. But I don't see how this is all that useful. I just don't. I mean, we're dealing with an unprecedented level of MACD. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at other than it can cross. Talk to me when it crosses, and we will see. Right? I don't really see how the MACD at current levels is any different than the MACD here inversed, or here inversed, or maybe even here inversed, right? Like all you got was a turn in this blue line. Okay. Here it is. Your blue line turned, never crossed. Your blue line turned, never crossed. Your blue line turned, never crossed. So talk to me after the cross, not before. MACD is a very lagging indicator. But if it does cross, yes, Bitcoin price could be at 12, 13K, which is probably where I'm going to go bullish on. All right, let's move on with the questions. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's SEC hearing about Ethereum security? Is there actually an SEC hearing? Can someone give me a link? I don't know what I'm expecting tomorrow. Like I'm not as an outcome. Like I don't know what I'm looking for tomorrow. Is the SEC going to make a statement? Is the SEC going to have a hearing? is the Senate going to have a hearing? Like, I don't know what is actually happening tomorrow. So I don't know what to expect until I know what is even being discussed. So I don't know. May 7 SEC Ethereum, right? Like, I would like to see something on an SEC website, right? Like SEC.com. Like I don't know what I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's see what it says. There we go. Here it is. Let's look it over. Okay, consideration. Oh yeah, I'll read all of it later, but I don't see anything here regarding Ethereum. Oh, I'm sorry. This is March 7th of 2018. It's their statement about the platforms. Okay. So this is not what I'm looking for. Like, I don't know what decision they're making. I need to see a link to an SEC, a government website, that says this is, are they going to say yes or no on Ethereum is or isn't a security? Like, I don't know what range of possibilities I'm expecting out of the answer. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Right. So someone in the comments says CFTC and the SEC are due to meet on the 7th to discuss the matter further. Where does it say that you, the guy sitting in his underwear in his parents' basement trading Ethereum, where does it say that they have to give you an answer on what Ethereum is or isn't a security, right? Like, I haven't seen anything like that. Like all I heard was something regarding Ethereum and something regarding securities is going to be happening on May 7th. But I haven't seen anything that says you are going to know what that's about, or you are going to know what they have discussed, or you are going to know what kind of decisions were made, right? Like, I don't see anything here. I don't see anything about it. I haven't seen anything that says here's a link to the public hearing. I don't see anything. There's going to be an announcement. All I know is that something regarding Ethereum and regulators is going to be discussed. It doesn't mean they have to tell you what they discussed. So yeah, so until someone can point me to a government website that tells me what we're looking for on the 7th, I'm going to assume it's another crypto media hype, like the G20 non-hearings about Bitcoin hearings. Silliness. Right. So the question is, how do you think the market reaction to this will be? But again, like, I don't know what my range of like public information is. Like, to me, this is, I don't know. They can come out and say Ethereum is a security. They can come out and say Ethereum is not a security. They can't just not say anything, because I don't think they're obligated to say anything, right? This isn't like what happened in March of last year when we had a date that the SEC was going to announce, will there or won't there be a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin ETF? We knew the day and we knew the possibility of answers. Yes, no, we need more time. Like, I don't even know if they're supposed to say anything when they're done with this meeting publicly. So I have no idea. Right. So it looks like the Wall Street Journal is reporting that there is going to be a meeting, but the chairman is not even attending. Like, I don't own any Ethereum. I've never owned Ethereum. It's an unlicensed, unregistered security, in my opinion, until the SEC tells me otherwise. I don't like owning illegal securities, guys. I don't like owning things that could have gotten me arrested back when I worked at Bear Stearns. It was illegal for me to hold securities back then without proper permission. I saw the Ethereum pre-sale. I knew it was an unlicensed, unregistered security in my mind. If the SEC tells me that it's not, fine. I don't know any. And Bitcoin is not a security. It doesn't meet it. To me, it's obvious that it doesn't meet the security criteria. All right, let's move on. I saw a video of a correlation to the price of gold and the price of Bitcoin. Aside from the use and technology, it's nearly an identical match. Have you looked and can comment? I used to, yeah, I even had a chart. Wait. Let me see. It's an old chart. Haven't updated it in years. There's probably silver versus Bitcoin. This one. I used to use it in my presentations. Yeah, so I use this chart. So I use this chart to compare the silver bubble popping with the 2013 Bitcoin bubble popping. Like that. So you can match this up to the T between, oh wait, something's wrong here. Oh man, is my scale off? Yeah, I guess it's something like this. There you go, right? So I was basically matching up the silver bubble popping and Bitcoin, but this was back in 2013 days. As I zoom forward, oh man, I guess the scale goes away. So here, so this is where Bitcoin started to lead. Like Bitcoin bounced, because remember, everything in Bitcoin happens 3 times faster. And that was this, and these look good. And then Bitcoin started to rise, and silver remains a basket case. So I don't see how they're correlated at all. And gold is pretty much like silver, right? So here's the more recent view of silver versus Bitcoin. And I'm sure gold looks the same. Like silver has done absolutely nothing. My God. So silver has been stuck between, well, it's been stuck between $16 and $18 for over a year. And it's been stuck between, between $14 and $20 since 2014. That's over 3 years. So no, I see no correlation. Next. What evidence is there for huge investors buying into Bitcoin this year? The only evidence is just what the OTC desks are saying. Now, I have also heard lots of big investors looking to, buy tens of thousands of Bitcoin, 100,000 Bitcoin, more, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin that these people want to buy in OTC markets? I have no idea. Guys, there is no evidence, right? The only evidence are the OTC desks, okay? And you don't know what those people's intentions are with those Bitcoins. It doesn't mean it's a good thing for the price either. You don't know what they're going to do with those Bitcoins. Okay. Do you know how easy it is to crash the price of Bitcoin with 10,000 Bitcoin? Imagine if you're holding 100,000 Bitcoin with another, I don't know, $10 million in fiat to invest in Bitcoin. A lot of damage that could be done with 10,000 Bitcoin on the open market. Next. Someone is asking me, do we sell now and wait on the sidelines until next year? You got to make your own trading decisions. I am hedging. I'm hedging my bets. I'm going to sell. I'm going to try and sell enough to cover my 6 months worth of fiat bills. And if at the end of the 6 months, the price of Bitcoin is at all-time highs, I'll be happy. If Bitcoin is making new lows, I'll be happy I got 6 months of bills paid at higher prices of Bitcoin before I have to sell another batch. Next. Do you think we are repeating the pattern of gold when we crashed from 2011 to 2013? Yeah, for the second time. Look, the bubbles or hyperwaves, however you call it, they fall the same way. Gold is maybe potentially finally getting out of its crash from 2011. Bitcoin did this whole thing from 2014 into 2016, and now it's doing it again. So, yeah. So the answer is yes, and for the second time. Next. There was something about ETF declined by the SEC on a Bitcoin chart. Could you look at that point in the news coming up tomorrow? Yeah, but that's the thing. There's not going to be any news tomorrow, guys. At least I don't think there is, or I don't know if there is going to be any news tomorrow. Let me tell you what happened on the ETF announcement news. Again, I was there. I was watching. You can go back to my videos. They exist. They're on the internet. They're still there. Happened right here. This candle. This candle that took out the shorts and then smashed down, taking out the longs. The high in this candle came before the low. Again, I remember because I was there. I was watching. This was the ETF announcement day. Now, what did I tell people? Again, go back to the videos. My memory is hazy. You can fact check me. I was telling people to get the hell out. This is before I was looking at this indicator, by the way. I was telling these people to get the hell out of the market in this $1,250 area for multiple reasons. Here's the biggest reason. Most people were 50-50 on whether the ETF was going to get approved or not. I was 95% confident the ETF was not going to get approved. So when you have an overwhelming majority of people that are, incorrectly thinking about the outcome, what happens is everyone buys into Bitcoin on the way up with a 50-50 shot at the ETF being passed. So imagine half of the people that are buying this upswing are going to be on the wrong side of a trade if the ETF gets rejected. And therefore, you don't want to be in this market. Okay, you don't want to be in this market when that happens. And what happened? We fell. We didn't fall because the ETF got rejected. We fell because of the over expectations on the ETF passing. Now, the real fall took place here. This is when Bitmain put its weight behind Btrash instead of Bitcoin. This was that. Okay. And this was the oh wow. Nice 9 sell. 913 sell. Absolutely beautiful. And this was the Chinese government showing up at Chinese exchanges and, you know, ending fake volume. So there you go. So is there a similarity between this day and what's going to happen tomorrow? If you can tell me that the SEC is actually going to make a statement about Ethereum being a security or not, I would say it has some similarity. However, we are not at all-time highs 3 days ago or a week ago. We were not at all-time highs. So therefore, it's a very different environment, and it can't be treated the same way. Though we are rising up unreasonably, I might add, from 6,000 to 10,000. So, and also, I don't know what let's say they do make a statement, right? Let's say the SEC is going to come out tomorrow and say Ethereum is a security, Ethereum is not a security. I don't know which is good for Bitcoin or isn't, right? Because remember, if they say that Ethereum is not a security, that might actually create a lot more interest in Ethereum and therefore less interest in Bitcoin. If they say Ethereum is a security, then some holders of Ethereum might legally be obligated to get out of that market. I'm sorry, if they say Ethereum is a security, then some people might want to get out of that market for legal reasons, and they may want to go into Bitcoin, right? So, but then again, if Ethereum says they're a decentralized platform to prevent censorship, they shouldn't care what the government thinks they are. It's totally irrelevant. You know, it's actually irrelevant for Bitcoin for whether the government thinks it is or isn't a security. Bitcoin is there as a payment mechanism against censorship resistance. So it's really irrelevant what the government says about Bitcoin, but it's not irrelevant what it says about Ethereum. Because remember, Ethereum, by some stupid ass design, is used to power smart contracts. And therefore, if Ethereum is ruled a security, is your legal organization going to be allowed to purchase securities for the execution of smart contracts? Will you need a license as a broker messing with securities to pay for a smart contract, I don't know, to open a smart lock? So I don't know. And you know what? I'm not thinking about it because I know Ethereum is a shitcoin and it's not really my problem. I just know it was created as an unlicensed, unregistered security. Now, that's my knowledge of the market. Again, the SEC can claim that Ethereum is not a security and never was, and therefore every ICO probably should become legal then, right? And then I might ICO. I mean, again, if the SEC tells me that I am allowed to print my own money and sell it to people as securities, I don't see why I wouldn't do it. There's a lot riding on this, and the SEC is going to take its sweet ass time to get it right. And they'll probably get it wrong. Let's see what the next question is. Can you compare the Ichimoku in the past crash and now? I'm not an Ichimoku expert, guys. I need to actually do some studying on that one. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to talk about a TA mechanism. I don't feel like I am qualified to discuss. Next. Do you think blockchain would solve the problem of non-reverse transaction? Huh? Ethereum is trying for new code to force a human developer interface. Can this be solved? Guys, can you just reread your questions? I don't know what you're talking about. Ethereum transactions are not immutable. This was proven when the DAO hacker coins got refunded back to the dumb investors, right? So therefore, Ethereum has proven itself not to be, well, I don't think it's a blockchain period, but it's not an immutable database. Okay, so Ethereum has proven that it's not immutable. Ethereum has proven that it's centralized. Bitcoin so far has proven that it's not. So far. I don't know. Bcash is certainly centralized. You can get those transactions back. Just talk to 3 people. All right, next. Do you believe that once a scam is always a scam? Yes. Yes. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Right? Like, you can't say that I am lying to you to get your money, but it's for the greater good and I'm going to do good things with that money. And then you end up doing good things with that money, right? Like if you lie to a bunch of people, like here's an example, right? Like you lie to a bunch of people to get their money. Let's say, let's say you're running a charity, right? Let's say you're running a charity. Let's say there's a, let's say Haiti got hit with another natural disaster. I think they're overdue. It seems like every 3 years they get hit with an unreasonable natural disaster. So let's say Haiti gets hit with a natural disaster, right? And you start a charity to help Haiti, and you collect, I don't know, $100 million to help Haiti. You do not use any of that money to help Haiti, but instead you, let's say, build something really, really cool. Let's say you use that money to, I don't know, let's pick something noble. Not a single dollar went to Haiti, but instead you use that money and you, I don't know, found the cure for AIDS. You tell me, did you scam or not? Right? Did do the ends justify the means? There's a good one for you. Think about it. Think about it, right? Now, would I be happy if, or a cure for cancer, even though, like, I always find it weird when people say cure for cancer. There's like so many different cancers. Like, how do you find a cure for cancer? Like, you can solve some. How you solve them all? Let's say you found a cure for all cancer, right? With that $100 million because you had the runway to find the cure for cancer. And you solved it. Okay, great. I'm very happy that you solved the cure for cancer. Did you lie to get that money? The answer is yes. Should you be punished for lying to get that money? Well, that's up to the courts. That's up to the law, right? Here's another one, right? Let's say we can flip it into the other direction, right? Let's say you killed someone, but then you hit your head and you got amnesia and you don't remember it, so now you're a new person. Are you still responsible for murdering someone? The answer is yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you scammed to create something, you're a scammer. It's that simple. All right, next. What is your method of evaluating the price of Bitcoin long-term? I mean, what are your price expectations long-term for 2025 and beyond? Obviously, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go up in value over time because I believe in the underlying technology. I mean, I don't know. Like, what am I measuring it in, right? Like, how do you expect me to give you an answer for the value of Bitcoin in 2025? I don't know. I think having one Bitcoin in 2025 should set you for life that you don't have to worry about money? That's my answer, right? I don't know what that is. I believe that by 2025, since there's only 21 million Bitcoin, that by 2025, having one Bitcoin should be enough for the average person to feel themselves financially secure. I don't know what it means in US dollars. There may not be US dollars. I don't know what it means in terms of gold. Gold might continue to go down because Bitcoin would have rendered gold useless, right? Like, I don't know in terms of what I can measure it in. Do I think one Bitcoin will buy you a dozen Lambos? Maybe. Like tell me, like, measuring Bitcoin versus Lambo might be a better thing, right? Because the price of a Lambo seems to be fairly stable, right, in terms of the average person's net worth. Like, how do you expect me to measure? Like, I don't know what's going to happen to the value of the dollar in 2025, nor gold. Do I believe that having one gold ounce will? Okay, so here's another one, right? Here's a better way to answer the question, right? So, do I believe that in 2025, one Bitcoin will make you feel financially secure? The answer is yes. Do I believe that in 2025, 1 ounce of gold will make you financially secure? The answer is no. 1 ounce of gold will probably buy you a suit. 1 ounce of gold has always bought you a suit. So in 2025, 1 ounce of gold will also only buy you a suit. What will one Bitcoin buy you in 2025? A lot more than one suit. Okay, so I think it's been about an hour. I think I got everything I wanted to get done. Okay, but how about this? I promise you this, guys, as far as the whole SEC security thing, I'm going to line up a couple of lawyers that are a little bit more qualified than me in describing security laws, and I'll have a chat with them. And then we'll see where that goes. I'll try and get that done next week with more on the record episode. Okay. Still got my tea. Okay. So once again, we're going to close out with ToneVays needs a new logo. I've been using my pictures, which everyone loves to make fun of. I don't want to use the Cointelegraph image anymore. I occasionally use the Crypto Friends image. I occasionally use the square version of this image. And the Jimmy song has a pretty cool new image, but a little too cartoonish for my taste. I would like something less cartoonish, but equally as cool. And so here are just some ideas. Something like this, slight angle to the head, eyes straight, with a hat, without a hat, a subtle hodl sign, by the dip-ish on the shirt, maybe. Another subtlety for Bitcoin. Like, I want to use this image in non-Bitcoin venues as well, or non-Bitcoin related interviews and stuff. And if you're a graphic designer, and again, I'll be willing to pay for this, but at the moment, since I'm opening it up to the public, it's more of a barter situation where, I don't know, you can attend one of my workshops or whatever. But effort doesn't count. I have to actually use your image in order for you to win any kind of a bartering reward from it, either attending my workshop or a consulting call, or, you know, if I'm ever in your town, you know, just if I'm using your image, maybe I'll come to your town and, you know, go out to dinner, have some drinks. You know, I'm open to bartering suggestions, but yeah, so that's to the public, and then I'll probably be working with some professionals as well. Okay, so there you go. I need a new logo, guys, and the sooner the better, because and if you're gonna do one without the hat, at least do me a favor and go back to based on how much hair I had about a year ago, or 2, or 3. All right, guys. Once again, also check out ToneVays.com, and that's what I mean, right? Like I want a cooler image here, you know, maybe a zoomed in version of my face, and then another one that's a little bit more zoomed out. My hand holding a microphone, maybe. I don't know. I'm all you can get creative. I just have to like it. And check out my workshop page, tonevays.com/workshop. You can register for Philadelphia. I want to make sure the site is working and everything is good before I open up Dublin and London for June. And then these are still in the works. And there'll be a lot more between August and October. Again, assuming people do sign up, right? If no one signs up, then I wouldn't be doing this. I don't exactly advertise other than just this YouTube channel. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, ToneVays.com. If you like my work and you would like to support my work, please check out the affiliates and referral section of my website, and this will be migrated over to ToneVays.com eventually. And I'm going to make this cooler looking in the future. I got to get some more affiliate codes, QR of products that I use and like, and stuff like that. All right, guys. All right, this was a full screen share the whole time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in once again. And we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow on another Bitcoin morning brief. Talk to you all on the next one.